Missouri Governor Parson announces a new incentive program to encourage Missourians to get COVID vaccines.
A Senate showdown over President Biden's infrastructure push. I'm Natalie Brand with the latest political fight here on Capitol Hill.
And U.S. life expectancy drops for the first time since World War II.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Vaccinated Missourians have a chance to win $10,000. This is KOAM News at 5. Missouri Governor Mike Parson today announced the state's vaccine incentive program called MoVIP. Over the next 3 months, 900 Missourians who have or will get vaccinated will win $10,000 each. Every 2 weeks, 80 winners will be randomly selected and win $10,000. 20 adolescents who are 12 or older will also get $10,000 in education credits.
We are not going to force anybody to take a vaccine in this state. We're not going to mandate it. We're not going to force people to do that. But what we do want to encourage the ones that really are maybe on the bubble, maybe the ones that are trying to figure out, do I or do I not? We want to encourage them to take that vaccine. The
program will be conducted by the Missouri Lottery. Local health departments will also be able to provide $25 to each vaccine recipient, up to a total of $11 million. MSSU is also offering a new incentive program for faculty and staff to encourage them to get vaccinated. Starting August 9th, the university will draw weekly prizes. For those vaccinated, each Monday, 2 employees will win $250 in Lion Bucks. And all vaccinated employees will get 100 wellness incentive points. On September 1st, 1 employee will win $2,500.
We feel it's really critical that Missouri Southern employees and students get vaccinated if they feel that they should, and we would encourage that. And so anything we can do to further encourage them to get vaccinated, we feel is a necessary effort on our part.
The program is being paid for with federal stimulus funds. Tonight at 6, we're going to hear more about the program and what an incoming student thinks of the idea. An OBGYN with Freeman Health System says the COVID vaccines are safe at any point during pregnancy. She says there is no greater risk of miscarriage from the vaccine.
Pregnant vaccinated versus pregnant unvaccinated have the same rates of miscarriage, the same rates of adverse outcomes. So we don't think there is any increased risk with vaccination. So at this point, we do recommend vaccination in pregnancy.
The doctor says the virus affects, for pregnant women, no higher risk of getting the vaccine than others, but she says the impact of the virus can be worse for pregnant women who do contract it. Doug Heddy joins us with a first look at the women.
Hey, Dow, it's turned out to be a pretty good day for us today. It is heating up a little bit more than what we have seen over the past couple days, but nothing is going on here. We have clear skies across most of the region, just a few little cumulus clouds popping up. Any showers, any thunderstorms staying to our south, but there is a weak little wave that will lift a little bit closer toward us as we go through the next couple days, giving us very slight chances for a few thunderstorms. Temps are warm, mid to upper 80s, but still below where we should be for this time of the year for now. We're really going to heat up over the next few days. Heat index is not that bad either, as it makes it feel like it's about 90 degrees across the region. We're going to drop back through the 80s, 70s, upper 60s later on tonight, but it really gets hot as we head toward the weekend. We're going to look at that here in a bit.
Doug, thanks. A vote to move to the bipartisan infrastructure package on the Senate floor. It's failed along party lines, though Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer was the lone Democrat to cross over and give a no vote in a procedural maneuver that will allow him to bring up the motion again in the future. Natalie Brand is on Capitol Hill, where lawmakers say they're close to a final agreement.
Senate Republicans voted down a motion to begin debate on a bipartisan physical infrastructure framework Wednesday, but members of the bipartisan group say they'll keep working.
We all want the same thing here, to pass a bipartisan infrastructure bill.
Senate GOP leaders have said they want to see a finished product before moving forward, and Republicans in the bipartisan negotiating group sent a letter asking to push the vote to Monday.
We are making tremendous progress.
Another clash brewing here on Capitol Hill, the national debt. Senate Republicans are criticizing the price tag of the Democrats' infrastructure proposals, and they're threatening not to support an increase to the nation's debt ceiling with the deadline looming.
They're playing Russian roulette with our economy. The amount of spending and taxing and debt is really threatening the financial stability of our country.
Playing with the debt limit is really playing with fire.
This latest political fight comes on top of GOP opposition to the Senate Democrats' proposed $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill focused on what they're calling human infrastructure. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The national debt currently stands at more than $28 trillion. The Congressional Budget Office estimates the U.S. Treasury could run out of cash sometime this fall if the debt limit remains unchanged. Another former advisor of Donald Trump is accused of federal crimes. Tom Barrack, who ran former President Trump's inaugural committee, appeared in court today. The charges: conspiracy to act as an agent of a foreign government, obstruction of justice, and making false statements to the FBI. Among other things, authorities say Barrack provided the United Arab Emirates with information about meetings that occurred at the White House while the company raked in millions from the UAE. Authorities say he never registered as a foreign agent. Barrack pleads not guilty. Still ahead, a trend we haven't seen since World War II.
Americans aren't living as long. I'm Jessica Layton with more on how the pandemic played a major part in reducing life expectancy.
And later, more Americans turn to non-alcoholic drinks. Topping today's Health Watch, the lifespan for Americans has gotten shorter. New government data shows life expectancy in the U.S. has reached the lowest level since 2003, with people living on average just over 77 years. The biggest culprit, COVID deaths. Reporter Jessica Layton has more.
Life expectancy in the U.S. declined 1.5 years in 2020, the largest one-year drop since World War II. That's according to the National Center for Health Statistics.
It is unexpected to see such a decline from one year to the next. Something has to happen for us to see something like that.
That something is the coronavirus pandemic. COVID deaths contributed to nearly 3/4 of the decline, impacting families like the Khans in Jersey City.
I miss his stories. I miss his wisdom.
Sabila Khan lost her 76-year-old father to COVID last year.
Do you think your dad would still be here if not for COVID? Yes. Yes, I do. He was robbed of years of his life. We were robbed of him.
The pandemic affected life expectancy for some ethnic groups more than others. Hispanics lost 3 years, non-Hispanic blacks 2.9 years, and non-Hispanic whites 1.2 years.
It highlighted disparities that were already there.
And men lost any ground they had been gaining on women's longevity. Experts don't anticipate a rebound in life expectancy this year.
We will very likely not see the level that we had in 2019. Because already, so far, we have had an excess of over 200,000 deaths during 2021.
For Sabila, losing her father has changed her perspective.
I don't want to have any regrets with my mom.
She's keeping her loved ones close. Jessica Layton, CBS News, Jersey City, New Jersey.
Deaths from accidents and unintentional injuries, including drug overdoses, also contributed to the decline in life expectancy, along with homicide, diabetes, and chronic liver disease. A woman's heart health could predict pregnancy and labor complications. Doctors at Northwestern University say more than 60% of women live with pre-pregnancy cardiovascular risk factors, like diabetes or an unhealthy body weight. Those risk factors could lead to preterm birth, low birth weight, or an ICU admission for the mother. That is a look at today's health news. Later, our Pet Vet on Call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about feeding your dog cereal milk.
Plus, our temperatures are really going to heat up over the next few days. We're going to check that out coming up. Another nice day for us today. Most of the week has been pretty good so far. Temperatures, of course, warm, heating up a little bit more, but we are still below average for July, which majority of the month has been below average, as we should be topping out 90 to about 91. We've been mainly into the 80s over the past several weeks, except on July 9th, we hit 91, but we're going to climb well into the 90s as we go through the next several days. Zooming in, here's the metro. Most of us right now, 86, 87, 88 degrees, and this is really pretty much the case across the entire area. Northern counties, a hair cooler, sitting into the mid 80s, and then you get into the upper 80s once you get into our western counties. But we still don't have too much humidity, so it doesn't feel awful out there. Heat indices about 89 to about 90 degrees, but those are going to climb as well. Looks good. We're looking off toward the north. 7th and range line sitting at 87. Winds pretty much calm. Relative humidity is at 49%. Through the evening hours, we drop back through the 80s, 70s, eventually upper 60s later on tonight. So still, it looks like a pretty good night, but we've been tacking on a degree or two each day this week, and we'll continue to do that over the next couple days. Nothing going on here. We have pretty much clear skies. You have to travel south before you find any showers or thunderstorms. Southern parts of Arkansas, you can see this little twist out across parts of Texas, a weak little upper level wave. It's going to get a little bit closer to us the next couple days, at least giving us some slight chances for a few pop-up thunderstorms, but we're still dominated by this other circulation, big dome of high pressure out across the western third of the country. Of course, you get the thunderstorms, you get the monsoon, you get lightning strikes, you get wildfires. So of course, our sunsets, you see the sun, it looks orange, very orange, and that's due to the smoke in the atmosphere due to all the fires out to the west. Let's go through time. Tonight looks good, upper 60s. Tomorrow we heat up, upper 80s, but you can see a few isolated little tiny thunderstorms that try to pop up. So a very slight chance you may get stuck under one of those tomorrow afternoon. High temp right around 89, and then once we hit sunset, we lose the heating of the day, then we'll be dry, we drop back into lower 70s. Let's go to Friday. Friday afternoon, a little bit hotter, right about 90 degrees. I think any thunderstorms mainly stay south and east, so I'll keep Friday on the dry side for this point in time, and then rain chances will increase a little bit again by the time we head into the second half of the weekend. Heat indices tomorrow, a little bit higher, 90 to about 92, but 95 to 100 by the time we head into Friday afternoon as that heat really starts to pump in across the region. By Saturday, we heat up, lower 90s, very slight chances for a few thunderstorms late Sunday into Monday, but the heat really kicks in. At least we do get some better chances for rain as we go into early next week, and those chances aren't very good. 89 tomorrow, 90 on Friday, 92 Saturday, 94 Sunday, plus we're going to have the humidity, so we'll get heat indices above 100, 95 on Monday. We hold into the mid-90s through next week with those very slight chances for thunderstorms.
All right, well, it's looking more and more like July is supposed to look.
I mean, this is what we're supposed to have.
I guess. Thanks, Doug. Coming up, more people cutting back on alcohol. First, though, we recognize a local veteran of the U.S. Army. Anderson, Missouri native Stephanie Foreman served in Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and Kuwait. Captain Stephanie Foreman, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, more than $1.5 billion in emergency rental assistance was doled out to cash-strapped Americans in June. All told, the Treasury Department says the government helped out 290,000 households. That's more than 50% increase in the number served in May. Amazon warehouse workers will no longer need to be tested for COVID-19 at the end of the month. The e-commerce giant said it'll stop testing employees, citing the availability of vaccines and free testing. In May, Amazon said fully vaccinated warehouse employees could stop wearing masks as long as they uploaded their vaccine cards to an Amazon worker app. While many Americans consumed more alcohol during the pandemic, a growing number are cutting back or abstaining altogether. The teetotaling trend has led to a booze-free boom, with more zero-proof brands hitting store shelves. Reporter Michael George introduces us to one entrepreneur who launched her product during the pandemic.
Like many Americans, Lily Geiger took a look at her own drinking during lockdown.
I myself was, just trying to kick the nightly glass of wine and came to realize I just wanted to create my own.
Geiger got her brand off the ground in April, an alcohol-free aperitivo called Philia.
Similar to a Campari or Aperol, you kind of mix it in as, something like a spritz, or, you could top it with soda water. It tastes sophisticated, but I think it's approachable to a lot of people, actually.
Philia is part of a booze-free boom. According to an IWSR drinks market analysis, the volume of no-alcohol products in the U.S. increased more than 22% last year and is forecasted to grow more than 23% over the next 4 years.
Most of those are made just like regular wine.
Barry Arnold owns Boisson, a zero-proof bottle shop with 2 New York City locations that also launched during the pandemic.
When we first started, we were basically begging some of these companies to send us product. Now we're to the point, thankfully, that we're getting 5 to 10 different companies reaching out to us. Some even drop the product by.
There are more than 300 products from 70 different brands on the store shelves here. Proof that zero proof isn't a passing fad. With names like Monday Gin and Sweet Reason, they channel their alcoholic cousins without the hangover. And customers are buying.
Thank you.
I'm looking for a thing that I can drink out and with friends and not have to, have booze.
Booze-free bottlers say as long as consumers continue to make healthier choices, business is bottoms up. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
This month is also Dry July, challenging people to abstain from alcohol and fundraise for cancer organizations. Today is National Junk Food Day, and a Google search trend study found that donuts, pie, and ice cream are the most popular junk foods nationwide. Respondents say they spend $20 a week on average on sweet and savory snacks. The unofficial holiday doesn't seem to be a one-day affair, though. More than 1/3 say they get their dose of junk food daily. Final check with the forecast next. The CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to hear from a Missouri Southern student and have more on the incentives from the university and the state to encourage COVID vaccinations. Plus, the search for the graves of 3 people who were the victims of lynchings in Kansas more than a century ago. And a 102-year-old veteran of World War II meets with the Kansas governor as part of a quest. Stay with us. CBS Evening News, KOAM News at 6. Some pets love human food, including what you might be inclined to pour down the drain. Today's question for our pet vet on call: my dogs like the leftover milk in my cereal bowl. Is it okay to let them have it?
Yes and no. If you have a sweet tooth and you buy the sugar-coated cereals and you have a lot left over, depending on how much, depending on how big your dog is, then no, that could be way too much sugar for their diet. But if you're the more healthy type that gets the healthy, natural cereals with no sugar on it, and your dog does not have an issue with milk and diarrhea, then by all means, share your breakfast with your dog.
We invite questions from anyone. If you have one, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question every Wednesday on KOAM News at 5. Of course, you can also find answers to previous questions on our website. All right, now for our picks of the litter for the week, we've chosen a couple of dogs that are kind of milky colored. From the Joplin Humane Society, we've chosen this little male Yorkshire Terrier mix. His name is Cowboy, and the society says Cowboy is a senior citizen. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, we have a male American Red Heeler mix, around 2 years old. His name is Happy. Looks like he's pretty happy in that shot. If you're looking for a pet, why not at least check out your local Humane Society? They always have a whole lot of them there. The weather not bad at the moment, but the temperatures are going to be heading upward.
Yeah, so if you do have dogs outside, make sure they have fresh water during the afternoons because it's going to get hot. 89 tomorrow, 90 on Friday. There is a very slight chance we could have an isolated thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon, and then mainly dry into the weekend. Then slight chances for thunderstorms return early next week. But you can see our temps, they start to climb. Mid-90s, heat indices well above 100.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.